everybody, happy Tuesday and welcome to Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Cox and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Canada, and today I am super excited to be here to share with you a card using the fabulous Bottled Happiness. You can find that one on page 16 of the new annual catalog, and it's one you won't want to miss. It's the one I'm featuring all week long. So on yesterday I posted on my blog card number 1, and today I'm going to share card number 2 with you. So how lovely was it today to see that beautiful sunshine? It was awesome. It's so long overdue. I was so excited to see the sun. All right, so welcome everybody. Hi Carol and Gail and Bev. Oh, my comments, just give me 1 second. My comments are doing something weird. There we go. Now I can see them. Okay, awesome. Good. Yes, a whole day without rain, Gail. Isn't that amazing? It's been a long time coming. All right, so this week I got back into the swing of things and I got out my newsletter on Sunday. Hopefully you guys have all subscribed to my newsletter, so you saw all the new happenings that are going on at Bird's Nest. 2 things I want to mention. So I do have the annual catalog paper share out. Deadline to register for that is on Friday, and this is one you won't want to miss because it's so fun with all this gorgeous new paper. And I'm just going to find the page here in the catalog. So in the paper share, you get 1 piece. Hi Trisha, hi Tina. You get 1 piece of all of the designer series papers that you find in the catalog. So there's like 12 different paper packs, and you're going to get a sampling of all of them. So each sheet, you're going to get 1 piece. So I believe if you do the 6 by 12, you get 108 total sheets. Because with that one, you get the bonus host paper as well. So that's something to check out and look. It's a great way to get all these beautiful papers in your crafty little fingers, so that you can decide which ones are your favorite and then order them on your next order. If you want more information, please just message me and I can resend that info out to you. So don't miss out. The 10th, which is Friday, is the deadline to register. It's $43 for the 6 by 6 and it's $78 for the 6 by 12. Okay, next we have the super fun, super awesome Hey Sports Fan class. This is a class to go, so you'll get a kit with everything you need to do your creating. And I'm going to show you the projects real quick here, and then I'll explain to you what is in the class kit. So here we have card number 1. Now you're going to make 2 of all of these cards. They're super, super fun. So that's 1. We got another one here. And then we've got the 4th one. So you're going to get a kit that you're going to be able to make 2 of each. So it's a total of 8 cards. Then I'm going to include a bonus PDF instruction sheet. So you'll get instructions for those 4 cards. You're also going to get instruction sheets so that for any of you scrapbookers, you can then make this super cute 8 by 8 page. Or you could make this fun and funky 12 by 12. So those PDF instructions will be included as a bonus for you along with your instruction sheets for your 8 cards. In your kit, you'll also get the sports event dies. These ones are super fun. They coordinate with the designer series paper beautifully. You're going to get a full pack of the resin stars, a full pack of the twine, and of course, you're going to get the designer series paper 12 by 12 pack. It is awesome. You're going to love it. It's super, super fun. All of these projects have no stamping, so you don't need the stamp set. It is sold out already. It was on the retiring list and it's sold out, but you don't need it because all of those projects are made using the designer series paper, some layering, and beautiful, beautiful cardstock. So if you are interested in that one, then please let me know. Registration deadline is Wednesday the 13th. And that one is $62, including everything I showed you, the dies and all the embellishments and the paper. Or if you already have the dies, it's $45 and you get everything else except for the dies. There's a shipping charge if you don't live local and can't pick it up. But otherwise, everything can be found on my website, createwithbirdsnest.ca. So I'm super excited to get back to all this fun and share it with you guys. So now, let's turn the camera down and we'll focus on our Bottled with Happiness card. and get started doing some fun stamping. So, hello, welcome everybody. I see a few more of you have joined us. Hi, Sherry. It's nice to have everybody here with me today, especially when it's so beautiful outside. I love it. All right, so let's go down to this card. Here we go. Now, this is the card that I shared on my blog on Monday. So if you missed this one and you want to see all the fabulous details, go on over to createwithbirdsnest.ca and you can see everything about this card over there. I also have a list with all the products that I use. So if you're curious on what any of these products are, you can find that over there. Today's card is this super cute one right here. And I cased this one. If you saw the description of my tutorial for tonight, I cased it from the catalog. So case stands for copy and share everything. And when I saw this card, I can't get to this page, goodness sakes. There we go. When I saw the beautiful projects in this, featuring this bundle, I really fell in love with some of them. So I'm trying to see the page. It's on page 151, the one that I cased, not page 16. Right here. So this is the other one featuring the bundle right there. And I just thought that was such a very pretty card. And it's a great way to show off a few fun stamping techniques. So that's what we're going to make today. This one right here. So let's get started because this one is going to have some fun things you're going to want to note. So I'm starting off with a Blushing Bride card base. Again, it's just a standard one, so 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it in half at 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold that. All right, and then I've got a piece of the Subtle 6x6 paper. I love this new gingham pattern. This is also in Blushing Bride, and it's 4 1/4 by 5.5, so it'll just fit and cover the entire front of our card. So I'm going to go ahead and use my multi-purpose glue. And look at those pretty polka dots on the back side. This paper is really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that here. Okay, I'm just making sure that it's covering all of the cardstock on the front of the card. Okay, there we go. Great start. I love it already. So now let's do some stamping. So the color combination I'm going to use on this card is Blushing Bride, Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, and Granny Apple Green. And then we're also going to bring in a little bit of Daffodil Delight. So to start with, we are going to do some punching. So the vintage bottle punch, this guy right here, coordinates beautifully with the stamp set. So in Granny Apple Green, I am going to stamp the tall bottle from the stamp set. So mine has a little bit of a pink hue to my photopolymer. That's because I was playing around with it and I've used it with some red tone ink. So not a problem. It's still going to stamp perfectly. And we're just going to stamp the whole bottle here. I'm going to turn my punch around. You guys have all seen me do this technique in the past. So I turn it upside down so that I can line it up nicely in here. And give that a little punch. So there's our bottle for the front of our card. Now, I don't want to miss the inside. I have been loving showing the inside of my cards a lot of creativity. So let's just stamp a bottle. Now, I don't want the whole bottle. So I'm just going to stamp what'll fit on the bottom of this scrap piece here. Okay, so I have a partial bottle and I'm just going to punch that bit out too. Perfect. Okay. So there's our inside and here's our bottle. I'm going to set this aside so I don't get green ink everywhere. Close that one up. Okay. So now we're going to stamp these flowers. Now, can you see how they're different colors? That comes in 2 different stamps. So we've got the flowers here and then the greenery here. But if you look closely, you can see I've got more colors than 2. So let me show you how we did that. I'm going to use my Stamparatus tool. And I really don't show this tool enough love. So I was excited to pull it out to share it with you guys today. So the Stamparatus comes like this with 2 plates. So 2 different stamping platforms, some really, really heavy duty magnets. Turn it over, and it comes with the foam mat for when you're using photopolymer. Now I've purchased some of the grid paper to go on top, and I just like that because it keeps my surface really clean. When I'm done, I can just recycle that and start over. Okay, so for my card, I need a piece here that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches, and I'm going to put that on my grid paper here. And I'm just going to take a pen. I'll use my Stampin' Right marker here. And I'm going to just trace one corner like this. I'm just going to kind of highlight the corner so that if this moves, I know where it was. Let's just do a second corner just in case. Okay, now it shouldn't move, but in the event that it does, we can just line up those corners again and it'll be fine. So I'm going to put the magnets over top. It's going to help hold the paper in place. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take my flower stamp and I'm going to place it where I want it. Okay, so that's where I want it to stamp. And then I'm going to close this cover down and just give it a little press. Okay, and pull it off. See how that paper's pulling up? But that's why we put these little marks down. No big deal, we just line them back up. And put our magnets down. Now it doesn't stick as much when there's ink on it, so we'll be okay going forward. So now to show you what I'm going to do for this technique, I'm going to take this right out of the hinge. See how easy that was to move it? And I'm remembering that my stamp is situated close to the top as opposed to the bottom, so that when I put it back in, I put it in properly. All right, so to get this one, to ink this one up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Petal Pink. And this is a really pretty soft pinky orange color. So I'm going to just ink that up just like this. Okay. And then using Calypso Coral, which you can see is a much darker color, but still super pretty, I'm going to take a sponge dauber. So here's just my sponge dauber, and I'm going to get a little bit of the ink on here. I don't want a whole bunch. And I'm just going to dab this around, kind of focusing on the centers of my flowers. Okay, now you could do this any way you wanted. This is just how I'm choosing to get a little bit of extra color on there. Okay, so when that's all done, we are going to then just stick that back in the hinges, just like that. Oh, my magnet's a little bit too close. Okay, and then we're just going to stamp that down. Put a little pressure on it. Lift it off. And there we have some pretty, pretty flowers, right? And if we didn't like the way it's stamped and we wanted to stamp it again, which I'll show you right now, we're going to take our Petal Pink and I'm just going to ink that up right here. I haven't left it on the hinges this time. We can come back down over top. It's going to stamp it exactly where it was. So this is great if you know, sometimes you're making that card and your stamp just doesn't want to cooperate and you miss the spot. This is the perfect tool because you'll just be able to stamp it down right again. See? Now look at that. So much better, much crisper. We still have the 2 different tones, the Calypso Coral and the Pale Papaya, or the, not Pale Papaya, the Petal Pink. Too many P's. Okay, so now what you can see in this card is now we have some greenery and we have yellow flower centers. So on another, I'm going to use this hinge and I'm just going to put it here in the top one and set it off aside here. And then what I want to do is take my photopolymer stamp. I'm going to put it so the stamp side is down and I'm going to line that right up. What am I doing here? There we go, right there. Harder to do when there's a camera over top. Okay, so I'm just lining that up and you can see by the center of the flowers when it's lined up perfectly. Okay. So there we have that all done. Then I'm going to do the same thing again, and I'm going to drop this one down this time. Give it some pressure to pick up that stamp. Again, it's going to lift a bit. But that's why, again, that's why we put these marks here. Okay, I'll put this way this time. And you can just double check it. It didn't move. So it's all still looking, oh, it's looking a little off. So it's okay, we can just, the beauty of this is you can just move it and you can still see where they're going. There we go. It was just off a slight little hair. So there we go. Now I'm going to lift this off, and you don't have to do this. I just want to do it for the video so you guys can see what I'm doing. So this here, I'm now going to take my Stampin' Write markers, and I've got Daffodil Delight and Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to color my stamp this time. So what I want to do is I want to color all of the greenery, the leaves, green, and the stems green. Okay, and when you're coloring these, sometimes it's hard to see on the photopolymer that you're getting the color in there, but trust me, it is going on. Unless your Stampin' Write marker is completely dried out, the ink will be going on there. You're just going to color it. Some of these I wanted to leave yellow, so let me just color these. Okay. So as you can see, you could color these any color you wanted, right? I just thought yellow was a nice color for the center of the flowers, and it complements the other colors in the card quite well. So now I've got the green on there, and I'm going to just use the yellow. We're just coloring those in. Okay. Now, a trick to this is this is going to dry because you've used the markers a little bit quicker than an ink pad would. So the trick is now, once it's all colored, is to huff on it. So I'm just going to literally huff on it, put it back here in the hinges, and then I'm going to drop it down, and it's going to perfectly place. Just putting some pressure on it. Perfectly placed images. Now, the beauty of this, doing it what we've just done, is we can look at the image and assess. So I don't really love the way this stamped here. It's kind of faded and it didn't come out very crisp. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to just color this one again. Okay. Now, because I'm only coloring that one, and I'm going to be very quickly doing it, I don't need to do the huffing technique. So I'll put that down, and we're going to just re-stamp that one little section. So it came out a little bit better, and I'm happier with that. So there we've got our really fun flowers, right? So that is one amazing technique with the Stamparatus. How many of you guys watching own this awesome tool? Because I love that it's got all the different panels that you can have multiple stamps ready to go. So the beauty too, not only did we get this perfectly lined up, but if we wanted to do a second one, which I do, because like I said earlier, I'm loving decorating the inside of my card. So I want to put the flowers down here in the corner, just like this. So to do that, I'm going to put my paper where I want it. I'm going to add my magnets. And then I'm going to stamp. So I'm going to do the same technique that we did earlier with my petal pink on there. Let's see if I can slide this. So I've got the petal pink on my stamp, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some Calypso Coral. And we're going to stamp this down. Okay. Lovely. Exactly where I wanted it to stamp, and I like the way it stamped, but if I didn't, as you saw earlier, I would just be able to come in real quick and stamp that. So let's once more color the stamps, and This is such a fun technique, a super awesome way to stamp with multiple colors using these Stampin' Write markers. And I'll be honest that when the Stampin' Blends came out, I kind of forgot about the Stampin' Write markers because I absolutely adore the Stampin' Blends. However, a Stampin' Blend marker, you would not be able to do this. You cannot color your stamps using an alcohol marker because it dries you instantly. It won't work. You need a water-based. So that is definitely one plus that these markers have over the blends. Okay, so let's add some yellow in here real quick. Like I said, it's so much fun to decorate the inside of a card and the envelope too if you want. So if you have your envelope ready and ready to go, you could do some stamping on there too. So I'm going to huff this again. And then we're just going to place that back in the hinges and stamp it down. Notice I didn't have to line anything up that time. And I'm just going to, there we go. Why did you switch the top hinges? Oh, I didn't switch them, Gail. It wasn't sitting properly in the end one. So I just pulled it out and then popped it right back in. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. So we're done with the Stamparatus now. So I'm going to just close this. Now you don't want to ever store it like that because it won't sit flat. You want to actually take it out and put it down on top. Okay. So we've got the inside, we've got our front stamp. And then I have a small piece, 1 inch, 1 inch by 3 1/4. And I'm going to use the Banner's Pick-a-Punch. And what I'm going to do is I don't want to cut off very much of this one. So on its own, this stamp actually cuts off a fair amount of your end. So I'm going to just flip it over. And when I see the corners just pop through the stamp, I can see both corners, I'm going to pop it. Okay, and then it doesn't take off as much of my paper, but it still gives me the same effect. So again, just watching to see that those 2 corners are popping through. Okay, that means it's going to be even. Pop it out. All right, so there is our banner, and we're going to use some Blushing Bride stamp, ink, not stamp, ink, and the sending, oh, that's not the one I want. That one's from a different card I was creating, sending a little message. I want the Overflowing with Happiness stamp. Because this bottle is definitely overflowing with beautiful flowers. So I've got the overflowing. Now is this block? Oh yeah, we'll make it work. Okay. So a little bit of ink on there. Stamp that down. Okay, so we've got all our stamping done. We've got some really fun new techniques, and now we're going to just assemble this. So first thing I'm going to do is get the inside done so I can put it in the card. So I want my inside to have the bottle kind of coming off the bottom like that. So just a little bit of glue. Put that wherever we want it to go. Right there looks okay. Oops. And then we're going to trim that. And of course, where are my scissors? There they are. So let's trim that off like that. So that's going to go on the inside of our card. So how many of you guys like to decorate the inside? I think it's super fun. And especially for the person receiving it, they get to see how beautiful it is on the outside. And then when they open it up, they get this lovely surprise as well. So it's super awesome. And it's, you know, it's fun to do a little bit more stamping. And look how cute that is for the inside. Give me 1 second. What have we got? Puppies are chewing on things they shouldn't be. I had to go rescue it. Okay. So now I'm going to take my stamped piece and we're going to just place this on the front flat. So we're going to just use our glue again. And place this on the front. Okay. Then we're going to take our little bottle that we made in the beginning of the video, and we're going to take some linen thread, okay? And the linen thread is going to get wrapped around, and we are going to use dimensionals on here. So I'm going to put a mini dimensional right there on the neck of the bottle, which is where I want my linen thread to wrap. So I'm going to put that here. And we're going to just wrap this around. It's just going to kind of give it a little bit of texture to our card. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Hold on a minute. Rethink that. We're going to pull this thread out. So we're actually going to have a tail on this because I'm going to want to tie a bow. So then this will be easier than trying to attach the bow later. So I'm just going to wrap this around. Okay, like that. And then we'll trim off some of this thread. And before I tie the bow, it's going to be way easier to tie the bow when this is secured. So I'm going to add the remainder of my Stampin' Dimensionals. Oops. Okay, so we're going to take that bottle and we're going to place it right where we want it. Like that. And then we're going to take and tie a cute little bow. Just like that. And then once the bow is tied, we can kind of tweak these tails to make it a smaller bow. I don't need a great big monster bow, although it is kind of cute. Okay, and then we'll trim that up in a minute. So then let's take our greeting sentiment like this, and we're going to attach that. Now to keep it nice and flat and balanced, we're going to just put dimensionals on the ends. Can you guys hear my puppies behind me? They're wrestling and going crazy. And they're quite noisy, so you probably can hear them. So this is going to just go across just like that. And then because we only put the dimensionals here, it's laying nice and flat across where we already had the dimensionals on the bottom. All right, last thing we want to do is add some pretty pearls for a little bit of bling. I always tend to pull the pearls when I'm using the nice subtle colors from the Subtles collection. They just seem to really coordinate well with those colors. So I'm just going to stick a couple of them. I'm using my Take a Pick tool. If you guys don't have one of these, I suggest you add it to your next order for sure, because look how easy I am adding these lovely embellishments. All right. So there, oh, let's trim out those ends, just like I mentioned we were going to do. Okay, so there we have it. Isn't that a fun card? I loved it when I saw it in the catalog, and I love it even more after I stamped it myself, because it's just a really fun, simple card that showcases the bottled happiness wonderfully. Like, it just really makes it nice. So yeah, so that's my video for today. Gail can hear the puppies. Oh, I'm sure you all can hear them. They are crazy, but they are what they are. So, okay. Thanks everybody for joining me. Oh my goodness, I got hair going everywhere here. Okay, that's fine. So the other thing I wanted to share is Stampin' Up Promotions. So if you guys didn't already see it, the last chance list has been released. There are lots of items on there being discontinued, and lots of them are on sale. Some of them are already sold out, but not too many yet. So check that out for sure. And if there's any on your wish list that you didn't get already, now's the time, because as of June 30th, they will be retired and you won't be able to get them anymore. The other promotion they're having, which is an amazing one, is the kit collection BOGO sale. So you buy one kit and you get one half price. The best part about it is that your most expensive one is the one you get half price. So it's a win-win, and it's a super awesome way to get started, get some quick cards made. It comes with everything you need, including the stamp set, the ink pad, the adhesive, and even the stamping block if one's necessary. Some of them are no stamping kits, so depending on which one you choose, it'll have everything that you need. And buy one, get one free, get the most expensive one half price. It's a great way to go in with a friend, maybe plan a card night that you guys can get together and stamp, and you can each pick a kit or maybe pick 2 each. It'll be super fun. All right, any questions about today's video? If there's anything that you'd like to order, reach out to me. I do have an order going in this evening, and I'm placing one again before the end, or at the end of the week. So, or you can order online anytime through createwithbirdsnest.ca. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I need to go see what these puppies are up to because I can hear them now not in here with me, which makes me more concerned about what it is they're chewing up or getting into. So thanks again for popping in, and check back on the blog tomorrow. This video will be uploaded there along with my little tutorial blog post about this card. And Friday again, I'll have another bottled happiness card to share with you. All right, everybody, have a good night. Happy crafting. Cheers.